guys, I just wanted to come on here and give everyone a little 2-week update on myself and baby Hadley. She's right next to me, so hopefully she doesn't wake up and start crying, but she most likely will. She hasn't eaten in a little while, so I just want to do this real quick. So while we were at the hospital, she was born 7 pounds 4 ounces, and they ended up doing the 24-hour wait, and she ended up not losing any weight in the first 24 hours, and the nurses said like they never see that, so that was like really awesome. I was breastfeeding / am breastfeeding, but I'll get into that. So they said that's really good for breastfed babies, to not lose any weight in the first 24 hours. They let us go home a day early because we were both doing so great. For myself, I was definitely sore and in pain, but it was nothing like I thought it was going to be. I feel like I'm almost like completely healed right now. Sometimes get occasional soreness, but really the only thing that's bothering me this last week at least has been my breasts from breastfeeding and pumping. So I was really pleased that I wasn't completely destroyed everywhere else like I thought I was going to be. But so we took Hadley to her 1-week appointment last Monday. They wanted to see her. We were discharged from the hospital Saturday. I gave birth Friday. We left the hospital Saturday, and she had, I guess it wasn't a 1-week appointment, but it was, they wanted to see her again on Monday to recheck her jaundice, her bilirubin levels, and at the hospital her bilirubin levels were good, so that's another reason why they let us go home early, but they like to check up on that in a couple days and also do another weight check. So last Monday we took her to the pediatrician, and they weighed her, and she was measuring 7 pounds, so she lost 4 ounces, which they said was completely normal. She was actually, for length, she was 20.5, yeah, or 20, I think it was 20 inches she was measuring. At the hospital, they measured her 19.5 inches, so she actually was a little longer than they had said at the hospital. After that doctor's appointment, we made another appointment for her 2-week checkup, and we had that yesterday. And it was just a weight check, and she measured 7 pounds 14 ounces. So she gained 14 ounces in 9 days, which is amazing because she's been having a lot of spit up, and I mean the girl poops constantly. I mean she's constantly like has the gas face, like she's like trying to push one out. I mean, I swear this girl does not I thought she wasn't keeping down the breast milk, but she gained 14 ounces in 9 days, so that's awesome. As far as her eating and what she's eating, she is getting my breast milk. A couple of days after we came home, I was super upset and frustrated because I really feel strongly about breastfeeding, and she ended up just destroying my nipples. They were completely cracked, and they were bleeding, and every time she would latch on, I would just be in so much pain, and I got to the point where I was like, I physically can't do this. I mean, it was worse than having a contraction. Like every time she would go to feed and latch on, she was just like, it felt like she was chomping down, and I was like trying everything. I looked up YouTube videos. I read several books about breastfeeding. I thought that, we were going to have this down. And at the hospital, I felt like she did really well. And the lactation consultant that came and saw us at the hospital said that her latch looked perfect, said that she was moving her chin correctly, they analyzed her suck, said she had a good suck, and 2 days later, we're home, and I'm just in miserable pain, wondering why. So I ended up calling a lactation consultant who came to my house, and she was a blessing because, you know, she made me feel, I was very emotional that morning. I think it was like last Tuesday, or like the Tuesday after we came home, and I was super emotional. Like, I had all these hormones running through me, and I would just cry like at the drop of a dime. And, you know, I was frustrated, I was in pain, you know, I felt like I wasn't being a good mom because, you know, I just like dreaded the thought of feeding her again, and, you know, I was getting frustrated with her, and that was frustrating me because I didn't want to be upset with her. So I just had like a lot of emotions. So I told my husband Brendan, I said, I need to get someone to come help me. Like, this isn't working. I don't want to give up breastfeeding already. Like, it's only been 3 days. And he agreed. So we called a lactation consultant. She came to my house, and she just spent time with her, analyzing her suck. And she said she has a very, very strong suck. And when she first latches on, she will chomp like really hard. And she even said, she was like, wow, like, no wonder why you're in so much pain, because she really is chomping down. So she looked around in her mouth, and underneath her tongue, she said that she has a small tongue tie. She didn't really recommend like getting it cut or like doing anything about it. She said it was pretty small, and she said that with some finger suck training, we could probably get her to relax her suck and get her to latch properly. So I tried the finger training for a couple of days, but like, honestly, I don't know if I'm just like being lazy or what, but she just like, I don't know if I was doing it wrong, but like every time I would try to do the finger suck, she would freak out. She just wanted breast milk. She didn't want my finger. And the lactation consultant said, like, right before you put her on the breast, to put your finger in her mouth and let her suck until it feels like a comfortable intensity. So every time I would try to do that, she would just get super frustrated. It felt like she was sucking more because, you know, all she was getting was a finger and she wasn't getting any milk. So I kind of gave up on that. And she did recommend nipple shields, but I didn't try that either. So she said at the time that she came, my right breast, my right nipple was a lot more damaged than my left. So she recommended pumping one or both breasts every other feed, and then putting her just on my left side during the feeds that I wasn't pumping. So I did that for the day, and then the next day my left nipples ended up getting cracked and started bleeding. So then I had 2 nipples that were completely destroyed, and so I just went to pumping for the next couple of days until my nipples healed. So a couple days later, when I felt like I was a little more healed, I tried putting her on the breast again, and she just, her suck was still strong. Was trying the finger training, and I just felt like pumping for me was a lot easier and a lot less stressful. It does get kind of annoying. It's kind of a lot. You have to clean everything. You have to like set everything back up, and it's kind of a lot. But for me, it's just worth it. I wanted to adjust the camera so you could see Hadley a little bit in the background. So she's a pretty good baby. The first week obviously is the hardest because you're waking up constantly in the middle of the night to feed, and it's just like exhausting. Plus, I felt like I never really caught up on sleep because she was born at 3:21 a.m. and then we got transferred to the mother baby unit, and I might have slept for like a couple hours, and then I didn't really nap that day, and then it just kind of like built up, like I just wasn't sleeping. And also she went through cluster feeds, like her second night. I mean, she was feeding every hour for like 30 minutes. So she was off the breast for like maybe 10 to 20 minutes until from like 1 to 4 a.m. her second night. So I didn't sleep much then. Then we got home and we were all just adjusting and trying to get into a groove, and I didn't sleep much then either. So it's been getting better. She actually, she sleeps like 5 hours through the night now, and the doctor said that that's perfectly fine as long as she's gaining weight. You know, you can let her sleep as long as she wants throughout the night because she is getting enough food. So that's been nice to catch up on some sleep. My husband Brendan went out of town the beginning of this week for a couple of days. He has a job in Asheville, and so I kind of took care of her by myself. And my mom is here, but she's not sleeping in the same room as me and the baby, so I kind of just took over taking care of her by myself in the middle of the night, and I was dreading it. I thought it was going to be horrible, but she honestly did so well. Oh no, she's getting a little fussy. She did so well. I mean, she would only wake up 1 or 2 times in the middle of the night, which is like, I think is awesome, because she was waking up a lot more than that. So I was very thankful that she was such a good baby while Brendan was away. So yeah, that's her sleeping. I mean, she sleeps a lot through the day. I mean, I feel like that's just normal for a newborn. You know, she's either sleeping, eating, or pooping. So I'm excited for her to grow more and like get more of a personality and start smiling more. But I'm also really enjoying these moments with her as a newborn. A lot of people tell me enjoy the newborn phase because the toddler phase is horrible. But I don't know, I'm just excited for every stage of her life. So as far as her sleeping, in the beginning that was kind of an ordeal also, because we have the Halo bassinet, and we would swaddle her and put her in the bassinet, and she would just like roll over like on her side, and that would freak me out. So I was like, great, like we can't use the bassinet. But what we've been doing is we've been putting, and I know that, you know, you're not really supposed to do this or let them sleep in the Bobby Lounger, but it's seriously the only way she will sleep unless she's sleeping on me, and I'd rather her not sleep on me all night because that's dangerous. I feel like that's more dangerous than putting her in the Bobby Lounger. So we just stick the lounger in her bassinet, and she is completely fine. I mean, there's nothing else in the bassinet. She's swaddled like normal. She doesn't turn at all. She stays in one place, and I'm a really light sleeper, so I wake up quite often and check on her, and she's been completely fine sleeping that way. What else? Are you waking up? Her umbilical cord, little stub, hasn't fallen off yet, and she's 14 days old, and they said it would take 7 to 10 days. They said not to put alcohol, or no, they told me to kind of rub it with alcohol. I hadn't been doing that because I have some friends that work in the mother-baby unit as nurses, and some hospitals say to do it, some don't, so we didn't have any alcohol swabs, so I've just been keeping it dry and just waiting for it to fall off on its own. And the doctor noticed that it was still on her, so she reiterated to me to continue with the alcohol swabs on her umbilical cord. So if it doesn't fall off in a couple more days, I'll start doing that. We did give her a little sponge bath yesterday, and she actually was really, she was fine during it. She loves having the water, the warm water on her head, and we just kind of scrubbed her fingers. Her fingers were getting, and her hands had so much lint on them from mittens and clothes that it looked dirty. And so yeah, we just give her a little scrub down. So she was born with some birthmarks like on her forehead and on her eye, and like a newborn rash, and that's pretty much gone. Sometimes when she spits up, she will get a little rash like on her cheek, but it goes away within a couple hours. I just kind of dab it with warm water. Yeah, she's been great. Her hair is already starting to change. She was born with super dark hair, just like Brendan, and it's starting to get light. Like her eyebrows are super light, and you can tell like the front of her hairline is starting to lighten up a lot. So I have a feeling her hair is going to get super light, and then it's going to get dark again. That's kind of how Brendan's hair was when he was a baby. He was born with really dark hair, and then it lightened up and got blonde and curly, and then it went back to dark. So, and I was born with like strawberry blonde hair, and it just kind of darkened as I got older. Yeah, she's getting gassy again. I don't know if you can hear her, but she's making her little gassy noises. I'm going to show you her in a minute, but I just want to make sure I touched up on everything. Her skin has been really dry, and the doctor said that that's normal too, because they're used to being so like moisturized in your womb with all the fluid. So I've just been putting lotion on her for that. What else? Oh, and the doctor recommended to give her vitamin D drops, so we've been doing that as well, because breastfed babies apparently are usually low in vitamin D. So yeah, I think that's pretty much it for her 2-week update. I am going to make another video talking about the birth, more about the birth story, because I know the vlog, like there were some things that might have been confusing and some things that I wanted to mention about my birth experience. So I will be making a video about that, but I just really wanted to make this video first because I know everyone's excited to hear about Hadley, and she's just so cute. I'd rather talk about her than me. So I'm going to show you her. I'm going to try to pick her up and hopefully she doesn't freak out. But, so this is baby Hadley. Hadley Jean. Here. She's waking up, so and I think she has some gas, so those are like the faces she makes when she has gas. She's also been like really good about her head movement. She like lifts her head up completely. Like I'll have her face down on my stomach and she will just lift her head up. Like she's already super strong, and the doctor even said like she is super strong. So I think she's going to be a pretty advanced baby, but I'm probably just saying that. Who knows? But she's adorable and we're in love, so I'll probably make a 1-month update after her 1-month doctor appointment, and yeah, thank you for tuning in and watching this video. Please don't forget to subscribe and like the video, and we will see you next time. Say bye. Bye.